Alright guys, so here's the review of the Starking AM0088. So if you've been around on the channel for a while, you know that it's been a while since I've reviewed one of them, but I did actually do one like right back when I started the channel pretty much. Still actually got that one. Might briefly talk about it in this video, but full disclosure, I was actually sent this watch for free. I don't have to give it back, but you know the score. It's not going to change the way I do my reviews, going to keep it 100% honest all the time, no matter what. So, you've probably also seen from the thumbnail, this is something a little bit different than my usual ones. Thought I'd mix it up a bit, something a little bit that I wouldn't normally go for. But the question is it any good? Would I recommend it? Let's get down to it and find out. So here it is. This is the packaging you'll get it in. I think this is pretty standard from the Starking stuff. It's like a grain kind of effect with Starking branding on. And then it's actually a slide out. So I'll quickly go over these little bits. So we've got the warranty card. And then if you want to pause that, there's the information. We've got a little Starking tag. With this one, I've only had to take out one link, but we'll talk about that when we talk about the dimensions in a bit more detail. Then we've got a branded cleaning cloth, and then the watch itself. So we'll get all this out of the way. So here's the watch itself, and then you can see straight away you've got an interesting detailing on that bezel. So it's actually like a multifaceted thing which catches the light really nicely. Do quite like that. Definitely not something I've seen before. Quickly talk about the dial before we get onto the main thing, the dimensions of this one, because that's what's really interesting about this one as well. So we've got an applied Starking logo at the top. Then we've got applied indices as well, which again, multifaceted, so they catch the light nicely. We have actually got those gem crystal things at the 12, 6 and the 9. Not overly keen on them. Plus I think they're slightly misaligned as well. We've got the date window at the, well, day date window at the 3 o'clock. That's because the movement in this is a Miyota 8205. We'll quickly talk about that now actually while we're on it. So zoom back out. So we've got just a push-pull crown, not screw down or anything. And I popped it out twice now, and you can see the second hand is still going. So we haven't actually got hacking on this, but we have got hand winding. So if I pop it out twice again, just move those hands out of the way. Now if I pop it back out once, change the date, turn it the other way, change the day. For this kind of price, it's pretty much what you expect. This or the 8215 probably. So the only other text or anything we've got on the dial is the sapphire at the bottom, and then the jewels automatic. It's a little bit weird it says jewels and not how many jewels, but it is what it is I guess. And then you can probably see as well, just on the outside of those applied indices, we've actually got little Lume pips. So we'll talk about the Lume in a bit, but before we do, like I said, let's talk about those dimensions. So we'll start with the thickness. That's coming in at 10.9mm. The listing actually says that it is 11.7, so it's actually quite a bit smaller. We've got a lug width of 20mm. Now with the diameter, I'm getting it at 35.7. The listing says 35.5, so close enough. So it's between 35.5 and 36 basically. So that is a really small dimension really. You don't see a lot of AliExpress watches with that, although we are starting to see a few more lately. And then we've got a lug to lug, just 43.2. So again, really small, really compact dimensions on this. So if I zoom back in, you can see we've got a fully polished case, well, more or less. We've just got a little bit of brushing on the top, but all the sides are polished. So it's a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but the finishing is nicely done. Again, I've scuffed it up a little bit. It's the only problem with having a polished case, they do mark up quite easily. And then with the bracelet, we've got a mixture of brushed and polished. So the centre links are all polished, outer links are brushed, and then on the outside of them, again we've got a polishing detail. So that matches in with the case. And we have actually got screw links, surprisingly enough. I wasn't expecting that. I thought they were just going to be push pins. They are actually solid links as well. But if I flick around to this, so we'll talk about the clasp before we get to that. So you've got the branding on there. It's got plenty of micro adjust, so that's not an issue. Should be able to get a good size. But it is just a press clasp. And then if we look at the actual case back, it actually says stainless steel and tungsten. I have contacted them about this because the listing actually shows pictures where it just says all stainless steel, and it actually says all stainless steel on the description as well. So I'm not sure if that's changed, or perhaps I've got an old batch or something. I'm not really sure. If I do find out, I'll leave a comment pinned and let you know, or I'll add it in the description or something. Other than that, we've got 30 meter water resistant, sapphire, and then the branding in the middle. Forgot to mention, you probably saw, we got hollow end links unfortunately, so not ideal. That with the press clasp do kind of make it a little bit rattly, but they work well enough. But again, a little bit rattly. So perhaps you might want to change it onto a different strap. Probably look quite good on a leather strap, I think. I tried it briefly, but then I wore it mainly on this because obviously I'm doing it for the review. So now let's test whether that is actually sapphire crystal. Using the trusty diamond selector too. And yep, we have got sapphire crystal. So they were telling the truth with that one. So that's good. So I did mention in the intro that this is the second Starking watch I've actually had. The first one being this one that I'm bringing now, the AM0088. And I do really like this one. But you can see, even though that is only a 40mm, so relatively small, this one is a lot smaller. That being said though, I do think overall the bracelet on this one is a lot better. It is only a butterfly clasp, but it's got solid end links on this one. So I do prefer that. But anyway, getting back to this. So I mentioned that we have actually got some Lume on this, so I'll quickly show you what that's like now. So you might be able to just about see that, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. And there it is. So I have to admit, I was actually quite surprised when I first tested this out. With this kind of style of watch, you don't normally expect, well, any kind of Lume really, especially on the dial. You do tend to get some on the in hands occasionally, but normally it'll fade instantly with this kind of price point on AliExpress. But I have to admit, I was quite surprised by this one. Is it the best? No, but it is actually usable, surprisingly. It's faded a bit already, but it stays now at this kind of level for an alright amount of time. So, not too bad. Bit of a bonus, given the style of watch. So, all that's left to do now is show you what it's like on wrist, and then give you my final thoughts. So, this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. Like I said, the light just catches all those facets on that interesting bezel. It's really eye-catching, really like that. Same with the indices as well, being faceted. So it just plays with the light really nicely, this one. And I'm not actually all that bothered about those crystals. I wish they lined up better, yeah, but they do actually look alright. They're not overly like in your face, so I can deal with them. That being said though, my girlfriend's already said she wants this one, so I'm probably going to give it to her after the review. But it does wear really comfortably, with this kind of style bracelet. Plenty of adjustment. Conforms to the wrist nicely. I do tend to wear it slightly tighter because it's got that press clasp and the hollow end links, otherwise it rattles a little bit on wrist. But now I've got it on, it's quite tight, no issues. So if you're interested in picking one of these up, link's down in the description as always. That's an affiliate link. You don't have to pay any more, but it just helps me out. But that's it for this one guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.